Hi, and welcome to Tony Time. I'm very honored. Well, I am very honored to have a family on the show right now. But the way we met was at the New Moon restaurant. I eavesdropped on their conversation. So I would like to welcome to our show Candy. Welcome to the show, Candy.
Thank you for having me.
Rick, that's your husband. And their beautiful daughter, Alana.
Hi.
Alana is our Miss Maine sweetheart.
Little Miss Maine.
Little Miss Maine sweetheart. And we're going to talk about the pageant and what is involved and how you can get involved or learn about the whole program. So welcome to the show.
Thanks. We're grateful to be here.
Well, you are welcome, and I'm glad I eavesdropped on your conversation and have you on the show. So, Alana, talk to me. You're a queen.
Pretty much.
Pretty much. So tell me, how does it feel? What does it take to get involved in Little Miss Maine Sweetheart?
Well, what do you mean? What does it take?
Well, what does it involve? I mean, how did you find out about it?
Well, my sister's friend's mom asked me if I wanted to get into pageants, and then she brought up this one, and then, yeah, so that's how she just asked me, and I said, yeah, sure, I'll try it out.
Candy.
Yeah, Dr. Christine Blake
Okay.
has been in many pageants, and she actually owns a pageant shop that she has in her
Okay.
office in Westbrook, I believe.
Uh-huh.
It's Westbrook. And she has said that, pageants are a great experience for girls, their confidence and wonderful opportunities for them. So she thought maybe Alana would like to try.
Mm-hmm.
And Alana said, that'd be awesome, And so she competed in Miss Maine Sweetheart, and she won Little Miss Maine Sweetheart.
Wow. And how many competitors were there?
I'm not sure exactly
It's not
the
the
number.
right word, competitors.
Contestants.
Contestants, that's the better word.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember how
And the
many.
platform for this sweetheart, the Miss Maine Sweetheart, is the American Heart Association.
Okay. And so if that's the platform for this one, you have a pageant coming up in August.
Mm-hmm.
August 15th and 16th.
August 15th and
For an
16th.
academy.
And that is bullying?
The pageant is Miss Maine Academic Pageant. It's
Okay.
for junior high, high, and collegiate.
Mhm.
And she's in the junior high division. She'll be competing for that division.
All right.
And that is, I want to talk about Crown Cares and their
Yeah.
platform.
Please.
Well, Crown Cares represents this pageant, and what they're doing is it's for bullying, and I think Crossroads, I think that's what it is.
Yeah, Crossroads
Crossroads
is
Youth
the
Center.
youth center in Maine that
Center.
sponsors the
That sponsors.
foundation.
Okay.
And that's all I pretty much know right now.
Why don't you tell them
we'll
what
talk
CARE
about
stands
Crown
for?
Cares.
Oh,
what
CARE
does-
stands for Creating a Respectful Environment in Schools.
Okay. So now, are all schools a part of this, or is it a school function? Explain to me where you go to school now.
I go to CK Burns.
CK Burns.
Mm-hmm.
So now, bullying and everything within that school, you are a part of helping kids or
Yeah.
talking to them?
Yeah, I do peer helpers, and I do a bunch of different things. Like we do this playground buddy thing, and every Thursday I go out and I find a kid or someone who's alone, and then I join them in, and then I just do a bunch of fundraisers and stuff like that.
Okay, now fundraisers, for example, what type of fundraisers?
Well, we did a bake sale to help for this guy named Matt who just passed away,
Uh-huh.
Cox. Yeah.
Matthew Cox,
Yeah. He had an accident.
of brain,
Yeah, he had a brain injury from
yeah, as a blind.
a terrible accident
Oh.
in town over the Christmas break.
And then we did a people and pet food drive, and then I think we did army letters and care packages to.
Oh, wonderful. Okay. All right, so now how do you get people involved? How do you get sponsors involved? Say, for example, if you're sending things overseas to like the troops, you write them
Letters.
you write them letters. Do you do a care package?
Yeah.
So who helps with that? Who?
Yeah, where did they get? Was it just donations that
It
they
was
received
just
from parents and
donations.
students?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
And I
then you
think
would
they
go
have boxes-
shopping and-
I think they have certain boxes outside the classroom, right? And then all the children can participate and put things into the boxes. Then they take
Okay.
one big box and they ship it overseas. And you also, I don't know how many other children are in this program.
I think there's like 30 other children.
So they
But
all
there's
write
There's like 600 kids in my
letters
whole
to the-
school. So
Wow.
it's
Okay.
not that much.
They gather all the letters and then have a care package and they send them out.
Oh, great. Now the platform, bullying. I want to get into that a bit because your whole family is very proactive in that. Talk to me about that. Talk to me about the bullying and preventing bullying. And it's been going on in the schools for so long.
Well, I just think that everyone has a story of
Yeah.
bullying somewhere. I know that I do. More than likely, my husband
Yep,
has.
we've all
and you
we've all
have.
experienced bullying, and
I haven't.
Well, you haven't, because I think we've hopefully raised you the right way, where you can recognize it and see it, and stop it and prevent
Yeah.
it. And it sounds like, all the programs you're in at school, you've been able to do that. So, but you're a strong, educated, articulate lady, young lady, who knows about bullying because it's discussed. When we were kids, it really wasn't discussed.
No, it
And
wasn't.
it was just kids being kids, and it really affects kids' lives moving forward. So, this pageant coming up in August, we found out that it was an academic pageant, and we felt strongly that it was a great combo of beauty and brains. And then once we found out that the platform it was Crown Cares, which is sponsored by Crossroads, which is a youth foundation in Maine, that this anti-bullying campaign is basically the roots of this foundation. It really was something that we talked about, and she felt it was the right thing to get involved in. So if she ends up winning the pageant,
Yeah.
she'll sort of dedicate the next year towards this foundation in helping kids become aware of bullying, how to recognize it, how to stop it, how to prevent it. So-
Great. I remember because sitting here, we have 3 generations right here. And I remember when I was Spider Woman and we'd go around making appearances to the kids, we would talk about that then, and that was back in the 80s. And we would talk about that and how to stop it, but it seemed like it disappeared for a while. Then nobody talked about it, and like you were talking about
Yeah,
before,
I just
Candy.
feel that it's always been around,
Yeah.
but we're recognizing it and we're following through with it.
Yeah.
I don't think that we are actually following through with the steps, the consequences that go along with it. Because if a child who's a bully realizes there's consequences, they're going to stop it. I don't want
Yeah.
to get in trouble. It's not worthwhile.
True.
There's other reasons of why somebody may bully,
Right.
but I think that with consequences and having awareness in it and how to prevent it, I think is key to
'Cause,
stopping
yeah.
it altogether. And I think also nowadays there's cyberbullying. It's a whole new thing
Oh, that's
for
a
everybody.
whole world unto itself right there.
And I
Right,
just,
and I think another important part to mention is it's unfortunate, and I don't even really want to bring it up, but it's the school shootings, and that has been something that's been around for the last 10, 15 years, and a
Absolutely.
lot of these kids are quiet and they're depressed, and I think how they're treated in their communities, I think, needs to be discussed as opposed to other reasons why they did these horrible things. So I think that's why back from our generation, maybe
Yeah.
perhaps it went away and now it's back. I think
Now it's back
now
again.
it's discussed.
cyberbullying
Yeah.
and it's such a silent thing. And I think we have to raise awareness for it because parents aren't aware of what's going on.
But there's
within
a
the
lot of
computers.
parents who don't want to be aware,
True.
believe it or not.
True, because it's difficult to understand technology these days for some parents.
Or do you think, just throwing it out there, playing devil's advocate, do you think it's because they feel their kids would never be like that?
Well, there's some, I think there's a lot part of denial
Yeah.
that my child would never do such a thing. I mean, we all want to think the best of our children, that they would never do such a thing.
Yeah.
But bullying does exist, so therefore a child it does start with children. And, you know, they've shown that children that bully grow up to be adult bullies.
They do, and you know,
Not
you brought
always,
up
but-
a good point, Rick. The fact of the schools and the shootings. I mean, we just had one a couple weeks ago. You know,
I
and
don't
I
want
mean,
to talk about it because it's awful, and
it's
you know,
awful, but
But all of these kids have something in common.
yes,
And perhaps, you know, I don't know their histories as well as I should, but, you know, I know they all suffered with anxiety and depression, and they were on medications. And, you know, it's hard to believe that they weren't bullied at some point in their life.
bullying
if
can
they-
change their life.
Oh yeah, I think the statistics show that kids between 8 and 15, their number one problem in their life is being bullied. And you know, it keeps kids home from school. It keeps them from going to class. It changes their life, and it basically, you know, the important years of their life where they're learning and becoming a person and an adult, you know, that they're being hindered because they're just so
They're
afraid.
living life in fear.
They're in
Right.
fear, and they're not getting the experiences they should. So, you know, we've discussed this, and I think the number one way to help is to be what was the phrase I used before? To govern from within, and
Yeah.
that's the kids stopping it when they see it, not seeing it and going and telling the principal. The principal can only do so much. It's within your group of friends, having a leader, having a person,
having a role model,
having
being
a role
our
model.
children's
Being a role model,
to
yeah.
let
No,
them
and that's
know
that's
that
when
it's not
when we
acceptable.
thought about the pageant with Alana. You know, we feel she can be she is a strong role model now. We
Yes,
feel
she
that,
is.
you know, she's articulate enough and confident enough, and a strong enough young lady that she can be a role model, and she can help, you know, set the standard for how kids should act when they see bullying in school and how they can prevent it.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly. And that comes from the home life too, encouraging.
And I think also being aware of your children and knowing any changes in behavior.
Yeah.
The isolation, if they're outgoing all of a sudden, they want to stay home. They don't want to hang out with their friends. They're
Being
in their
more
rooms by
aware.
themselves a lot. Being aware and recognizing the changes in our children and why they're changing.
Yeah, there's a
Really
reason kids bully.
understanding
Yeah.
what your children and really being in touch to, because it's an embarrassing thing for children.
Sure it is.
You know, and it touches not just children with low self-esteem, it's children with high self-esteem. It's all different types of children. You know, and so I think once we realize that what is it, 1 out of 10 children are bullied?
Wow.
1 out of 10.
Didn't realize that. I
1
did
out of
not
10.
realize. Now, you mentioned something about the hot spots.
Well,
I found that
because
interesting.
yes, because children are aware that the adults are not around. Another reason why cyberbullying is so popular these days is because parents are not involved in that area. And I think hotspots like cafeterias, lunch cafeterias, in a bathroom, in a schoolyard, simple places like that where they know adults are not around.
Right.
And when adults are not around, then they can bully because they want power. They want power,
True.
and they want to be able to make that person feel different, and that's an easy access for them.
It's easy. They can corner them. They can do it in a crowd, and they're not going to say anything to the parents. And, I mean, we also have to go and bring up that no matter what walk of life you're in, you know, if you're a single mom, you know, or a single father, you know, being aware of the points you brought up. I think, you know, if
Absolutely.
your son or daughter stays in their room longer, they're not as outgoing and active as they used to be.
Right.
Be aware of that.
Well, and I think, you know, a lot of bullying, us older generations, we sort of think of, you know, the kid beating up kids in the schoolyard, but
Yeah.
I think it's a little more subtle now, where
It's
it's that random mean text a girl will send,
Yeah.
or a phrase a boy will use if someone makes a bad basketball play. Just little things that over time add up, and
Right.
it's not the typical bullying that we envision when we think of it when we were kids. It's the Facebook this and the Snapchat that and the Twitter that,
True.
and it's just very, very different. It's changing.
It's very different, and I was speaking to a young lady where she's having a problem in school, and her friends aren't talking to her, and they call her a thought. She's a thought.
Yeah.
Aw.
Hmm.
Yeah, see, that's a
A thought?
mean and
Yeah.
subtle.
A thought. She doesn't exist. She's just a thought.
And also, they were talking about bullying. One person may start it, but it can continue on within their group of friends. So bullying necessarily is one person doing it only.
Right.
It can carry on within the group of friends. They want an audience. They want their friends to continue on with that type of behavior. Let's say it's texting, and then a group of them texting something nasty. So it's not necessarily one person that's doing it. It could be a group.
Sure.
It
Sure
could be
it
a
can.
group. And so I think we have to recognize that also. And also the job of a bystander. I mean, there is a victim in bullying, but then there's the bystanders that can make the difference.
That can make the difference.
Can really
Speak
make
up.
the difference. And I think I think a lot of people are silent within a school. Bystanders are silent because they don't want to tattle. We hear that word, don't tattle on your sister or your brother, enough with your tattling, enough with your tattling. But there's a difference. You're not telling on somebody to get them in trouble. You're standing up for the victim
And they have to know
telling
the
them they have a
difference.
job
Yeah.
to protect that person because they're going to get hurt.
Yeah.
So
So, you know-
bystanders, I have a hard time between reporting. It's reporting it. It's not tattling. It's
Yeah.
really important that we find an adult, the children find an adult and do something
And do
about
But
it.
something. about it.
but before that happens, I think it's important that we teach the kids, like I said, to govern within, and they need to
Yeah.
have the confidence to stand up for what's right and what's wrong in the beginning. And they can cut a couple month process of bringing it to the principal. They can cut it down right away, and it's having a role model in the class. It's having young, strong women like Alana who can stand up to certain kids in the class and say, that's not right. I'm not going to let you do that to her. I'm not going to let you do that to him. And sometimes it'll end right there. And I think
Right.
it's vital, and that's why.
And this is new. This is new. This is something that, I mean, I haven't heard of, people taking a stand, except this morning on the news. There's a young boy who used to be a bully. His parents got him turned around to say it's not good and to get involved.
Yeah.
And I wish I could tell you more about the story, but I can't because I was like in and out of it. But I think where you're starting now here in Saco, Biddeford, it's important for the schools to have someone like you to be able to speak up. And you're absolutely right, Rick. I mean, somebody there that will stand up at that moment.
That's what you need, right?
Yeah.
And I think with the pageant coming up in August, with that being the main focus of the foundation and of Crown Cares, if she were to win the pageant and she could sort of dedicate the next year on focusing on anti-bullying within the communities of other towns
Yeah.
and other cities across Maine, I think it's a really good platform and it's a really good cause for Alana. So.
Exactly. No, I was just moving the sash because of your microphone. We didn't want it to kind of, make a noise. But no, I mean, I agree with you thoroughly. And now, having Alana in class or in school, keeping an eye or seeing it and stepping in, I mean, we need more people.
Well, I mean, C.K. Burns doing that program, the Playground Buddy. What a wonderful program that they have that she, participates on Thursdays
Yeah.
with.
I mean, it's a
I
great
think that's
idea.
a wonderful, if a child's sitting alone, great opportunity for somebody to pick on them.
Well, yeah,
And it's
just-
a wonderful program that, come play with me.
Yeah.
Come play with us.
I just think the more it's discussed, the more it's talked about.
Exactly.
The less chance it's going to happen down the road, and the less chance it's going to fall through the cracks.
Right, and you have to bring it out into the open because if it's
Yes.
kept in the dark as it has been,
Right.
and some people have devoted attention when it was, I don't know, if it was somebody was going for an election or something like that. Oh, let's do this and that, and then you hear nothing about it again.
Right.
Right.
But if the parents can keep it going, I think it's great.
Absolutely. I mean,
Now-
I have a personal experience when I was younger. I was bullied. My brother, my sister, and I were bullied. And they turned their backs on us. We were in Nashua, New Hampshire, and my mother went right into the police department and, spoke her mind and said, this has got to stop, and nothing was done.
No.
So my mother said, nope, this isn't going to happen. It's not going to happen to my children, and we moved. We moved.
See, that was a smart woman.
And-
to pick up and move.
But it wasn't dealt with.
No.
Would it have stopped? If it was dealt with, I think so. If the school, So that's what I'm saying. I think back in the day, you turned your back to it
You
more.
did.
You know,
You did.
playground, bullying was more acceptable. Well, that's just part of life.
Well, that's what it was when, I mean, going back another generation. I mean, as you said, Rick, I mean, when I was in school, it was, okay, let's fight it out.
Absolutely.
Or you get somebody in the bathroom and give them a wedgie or flush their head down the
Well,
toilet.
now it's a war of words, and
Yeah,
it's
now it's words.
and that sometimes is worse. It probably is worse.
It's worse, and it's electronic, and it's
Right.
the media, and
Technology, yeah.
so many things are involved. So it starts with the parents, no matter if you're a single mom or dad, a family, you've got to be involved with your children.
Absolutely.
Now let's talk about our books we have here.
Why don't you?
Let's talk about the first one here.
Well, yeah. Well,
Yankee Go Home.
we'll sort of preface the conversation by the author of this book, Deb Landry. She just happens to be the main director of the Crown Cares, who is sort of backing this pageant she has coming
Oh,
up.
great. Okay.
So we had these books at home, so we thought we'd bring them and share with you what the books are about and what they can teach the kids in the classroom
Yeah.
for the anti-bullying campaign. After the pageant. So, Alana, why
What's
don't you
this
tell
book
us about
about?
This one is about Yankee, which is this poodle right here.
Uh-huh.
And he goes out of his fence in his backyard to see what's beyond that. And he sees a dog, and he tells him, Yankee, go home, because he got out. And then he goes to see these other dogs, and it's a big gang of tough bulldogs and stuff like that. And then he asked if he could join in, and they said, no, you're a poodle. It's a different kind of, not muscular kind of dog. And then they tell him to go home, and so he goes home, and then they chase him and they try to hurt him, and then the bystander helps, which is this dog, and helps and saves Yankee.
Okay. So now, do you go to schools, to classes, read the books to the students, or
No, not yet.
not yet? You'll do that.
If she's the
I'll try.
if she's the
This is
title
lo-
holder,
Okay, the title holder on the next pageant.
pageant,
Yes.
which is the Miss Maine academic pageant for junior high, high school, and collegiate.
Okay, great. The illustrations is wonderful in this book. Wonderful. And now this book here, Sticks, Stones, and Stumped. What is that about?
Well, it's this possum, and he's new, and he goes to this new school, and there's this, I think his name's Billy Bob. And they go in, and then they introduce him, and then the moose, like a big tough moose, I don't know what his name is, but he tries to have more power than him, and when they were at baseball or something, and he tries to make him feel bad with words. And then he was making fun of him, and then I think it's Bully Moose or something like
Bully
that.
Moose?
Yeah. And he teases him, and then he tells him not to tell anyone, and then you're supposed to, in real life, you're supposed to walk away, but in possum form, you're supposed to play dead. And he plays dead and he
Right.
walks away.
Possums play dead. Okay.
And
Great.
then the bystander sees it happening, and then he helps him and tells the teacher, and then they do it. Happy ever after.
Happy ever after ending. Okay, and here's the last page of the book.
So yeah, it's just with Deb Landry, she just put together children's books to.
This is great.
It's a real world way that kids can learn about bullying and how to stop it and prevent it.
And where can people purchase these books?
I believe they can go on BrysonTaylorPublishing.com.
Okay.
BRYSON TaylorPublishing.com.
Okay, everybody. All right, that's good to have. So now, preparing for the pageant in August, for your first pageant here, I mean,
Yeah.
you had to, like Miss America, Miss USA, all those pageants, they have the competition, swimwear, the gown, the talent. What do you do?
We do a gown, like the big gown, and then we do a fashion wear, like that
Represent you and your
represents you.
personality.
And then we do an interview, which is on this ad paper you pass in, and they just pretty much ask those questions.
Okay, so you have an idea of what the questions are before.
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit. So when you won this, what was the question you had?
On the interview?
Mhm.
Just on the ad page, pretty much, and then other interesting facts and stuff like that.
Yeah, what was the specific question?
Yeah, what was the specific question?
Well, there's an on-stage
remember you
question
gave
that
the
they
question on
have.
stage?
Right, that's the one I want.
And her question was,
I think it was,
what's something you do fun? And you
What do
said
you-
you dance at Dance House Productions. I think it was, what is something that you do that's fun?
Okay.
I think.
yeah, I think so.
And she says, what did you say? I forget.
I said the Dance House Productions.
She loves dancing at Dance House Productions.
Okay.
Yeah, so the pageant coming up is a bit different. It's called the Maine Academic Pageant.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously not only do we take the dresses and the fashion wear, but they take community service, extracurricular activities. They need a report card. So it's an entire process of looking at a solid human being. It's not just
They want girls
she's
of
tall and
high
pretty.
moral values.
Okay, so
and
our
community
audience knows
service.
if they want to, if they have children,
Yeah.
and they want to get involved, what this takes. So
Yeah.
Right.
it's not just
Academic achievement, they look at high moral values, they look at the community service that they participate in. It's very extensive.
Yeah,
report
it's-
card. I mean, do you have to have
Report
straight
card?
A's, or can you?
Transcripts for college girls, definitely. They have to have transcripts and all
Wow.
that. And they have to, in the official report card from
Yeah,
the
so
school.
it's just a great experience for Alana. It's going to give her confidence. It's
Oh,
it's
yeah.
going to teach her to be a great public speaker. It's going to teach her to depending on the cause. Each one of these pageants each year is going to have a different cause. So now
Sure.
she was involved with the American Heart Association, and now she's going to be involved with Crown Cares and anti-bullying. And every year it's going to be something.
Something
So
different.
she'll have a way to give back every year.
If she
Great.
wins, but I mean, regardless if she wins or not, it's a great program to get into.
Oh, yeah.
She, volunteering with Crossroads Youth Center, anybody can participate in that. There's different, there's the
Yeah.
scholarship programs that they have.
So our
academic-
audience could make a donation.
Absolutely.
They could
Yep, make sponsors. They'd be sponsors. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, and for, if I can interrupt,
Go ahead.
For the pageant coming up, and this is the part I think you overheard at the New Moon restaurant we were eating was, she needs to have an ad page with, some photos of
Headshots
her,
of her.
headshots, and
Yeah.
and then we have sponsors which will go in the pamphlet and the brochure, which will advertise for the companies that decide to sponsor her. But there's also opportunities just for people who don't own businesses that want to contribute to the great cause. They can help support Alana. You
right.
can feel confident if she does win the pageant that she'll be able to focus her time and effort for the next year on this anti-bullying campaign. So you're sort of investing in her.
You're investing in
I
her,
suppose
yeah.
in us too, because we're
Investing
going
in
to
the
be helping her and
program
supporting her.
that what Crown
Yeah.
Cares stands for, and also they join United Against Bullying. So it's a wonderful cause, and Crossroads Youth
Definitely.
Center sponsors Crown Cares and United Against Bullying.
Okay, so for example, stores, New Moon, stores in Saco, whatever. I mean, if they wanted to sponsor Alana, would they get, what's the word I'm looking for? Would they get
Recognition.
recognition
Yes, they would on the ad page.
on the ad page?
In the program, it will
Okay.
say, in the programs they have the ad pages. More than likely, her ad page will go into that program with the sponsors.
Does it only have to be in Saco, or can it be Biddeford?
Well, it's
Well, again, it's a main. It's
main-
it's an
okay.
entire main
It's
pageant. It just
located,
happens, luckily for us, that it's at Thornton Academy in Saco. We're just
okay.
all
So,
girls travel around. travel from-
So I think most
areas.
likely we're probably going to get more local sponsors, just because we know
Because
more people
we know
locally.
more people,
but no,
but-
of course, if there's anyone can sponsor. Really.
Well, I'm thinking that clothing shop, Sugar.
Sugar, yeah.
I had them on the show modeling their clothes, and there's a young lady there. She's 18. She makes license plate jewelry, and she cuts it out with tin snips, and she makes necklaces and earrings and different things. And she's um, very together 18-year-old, goes to college, whatever. And I'm thinking that maybe they might want to be involved in this as well. So I just want to make sure that it can be anybody
Yeah,
sponsoring.
Anybody can sponsor.
yeah, and then
Okay.
we give you our information. So when the credits roll, they'll have my phone number and my email address.
Okay.
Anyone who's interested in sponsoring, they can call me and I can talk to you personally about the details.
Yeah, please call Rick,
If
yeah.
if you want to sponsor a full sponsorship, which gets you, recognition in the pageant, or if you just want to, anonymously sponsor, you can call and donate whatever you want,
All
and
right.
it's all going to go towards this foundation and her application fee and the Crossroads Youth Center, and
Okay.
and I believe more sponsors she gets, then it can turn back towards scholarship money that other girls can win as well.
Oh, that's
that
wonderful.
are in the pageant.
That's
So.
wonderful. So think about that. I mean, when you sit and watch the show as you're doing now, and it'll go and repeat a few times.
Yeah.
Learn more about it, definitely. So I want to take a moment here to talk about your mom and dad.
Okay.
They're childhood sweethearts. How about that? They go back to 5th grade. I mean, this is just so rare anymore. But the two of you met in 5th grade. You traveled a lot.
Yeah, well, I moved
Military background.
Yeah, we moved into town and we became friends in 5th grade, and we sort of,
He was
we
the
played
new
googly
kid.
eyes for a couple years, and then we started.
eyes.
We started to technically date in 9th grade, if that's possible. We started.
Kids date in 9th grade.
I
Yes,
guess-
they
I
do.
I
guess
think
they
so.
do.
I had my license,
date
and we went on plenty of
second
dates,
grade.
so therefore considered dating.
Didn't she say something? He always wore sweatpants.
He was the new kid in town.
Okay.
He was the new kid in town in 5th grade, and I definitely had my eye on him, but the kids were making fun of him that he wore all these sweatpants, but he wore bright sweatpants, like
Okay.
bright red and royal blue, and I didn't care. I thought he was quite cute and different.
I was going to wear
and-
sweatpants today,
and
but
he didn't
she talked
care.
me out of it.
She made you take your glasses off.
She did.
I did not.
No, Alana did. So then it was just like love at first sight.
I just knew that there was something about him, and
So you two have same likes and dislikes, or complete opposites that make you balance?
I think we have
geez.
very similar moral values.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we want to raise our children very similar.
You have 3 children,
We
right?
have 3 children, yeah, Isaac, Addison, and Alana.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we agree on a lot of things, and I always knew that he was going to be a great father, because I always wanted, I think it's really important to have, father involvement in
Oh,
families.
absolutely.
And it's not always seen, and
No.
I really wanted that, and I knew that he would be.
Yeah, I mean, certain things we think identically on, and then we couldn't be more opposites on other things, depending on what we're doing.
Personality-wise, I
Right.
think we're very opposite.
Well, when I first met you at the restaurant after you left, I kind of thought that he might be your second husband. I don't know why
Second husband.
Was I not wearing my wedding ring? I was
well, I
working out at the
wasn't.
gym, probably.
I didn't notice your hand, but you two are so young looking.
Yeah, we were young.
And you were so ooey gooey a little bit.
We were.
So I thought, well, this can't be husband and wife from.
We've been together 20 years.
20
so-
years.
Well, I just didn't think so. I thought this was your second husband.
You know why? Because we were on a date, right? We were on a date.
I guess so.
You got to make time for dating.
See, I really thought you were. I had to ask the waitress.
I think I was in my sweatpants.
You were in your sweatpants,
I was.
and I was in my gym gear.
Right. Okay. Because I asked the waitress. I said, "Are they together? I mean, is that her second husband?" I did. You can ask her.
Yeah,
I don't know why I thought that.
that's
okay.
funny.
You two just seem too fresh.
Too fresh. Well, that's
Too
good.
fresh together,
I'm glad that we
which
have
is a
that.
good thing.
See, Alana?
So
See what?
You got some cool hip parents.
do have cool hip hair.
One who wears sweatpants.
Hey, that's all right.
Well, I mean, I'm a stranger coming in, looking at the situation, going, they're too fresh together, But I just think it's a wonderful story.
Yeah, I mean, how we work and how we try to raise our kids is just, strong moral ethic, beliefs, and her and I, we believe in raising our kids a certain way, And everything else can be different, same, as long as you have that in a family and a foundation. I think you can make it work.
Now, are you an only child?
No, I have a brother. He's a year older than me.
Okay, and are you an only child?
I'm the baby of 3.
Baby of 3, okay. All right, so that says a lot too.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
think it's important to
when
have
you
a
have a
strong
brother or a
family
sister,
foundation.
yeah, exactly.
Absolutely, for many different issues.
Yeah.
And to have an open family. I think we're very open to talk about many different issues. And I think
We have
that's
to these
really
days.
important. And I think it's really important raising children these days. And it's, you know, for them to be able to, and I think even with bullying, I think it's good for these children to know that they can go to somebody that they trust. And that starts first in the home.
But here's a good question, and it does cross my mind. Bullying, I mean, is that across the board problem, or is it different classes of people? Is it
I bet it's across
ethnic?
the board. I bet it's across the board,
Across the
all
board.
races.
Okay.
all-
Hence it's the National Crowns Cares.
All right.
It's national.
It's national.
It's important. It happens all the time.
no
And
matter
when
who
you
you
have
are?
those statistics,
I-
1 in 10 children are bullied.
Yeah.
And the effects that happen, the effects of, and the consequences of bullying, that's what's really important. Because it affects everybody,
Sure.
you know, and the
Right.
person that you are. And when you have all those programs that reach out to children that are being, you know, victimized, I think it's important.
Well, I mean, self-confidence is so important for kids growing up.
It is.
And you know, if that self-confidence is tarnished at a young age, it changes their life forever. And you can't
Absolutely.
get that back. And when a kid's between age 6 and 12, and his experiences are slighted by a bully, he's never going to get that back. He's changed forever.
Well,
One bully
bullying
can
causes children to believe what the bullies are saying.
Yes.
They believe, well,
They believe it.
maybe they're right. You start to self-doubt. You start to have, you know, and that affects your self-esteem.
And that's
Who you are.
that's why we need strong
Strong.
kids in the community, such as Alana, who can go in and lead by example and recognize bullying and stop it, or prevent it altogether by just talking about it and talking to her friends and recognizing it and being leaders in the community.
Not keeping it a secret.
Right.
But I have a question here, too, Rick. Okay, look at, for example, the kid in Harlem, who there's no chance, and there's bullying, and there's all this, but he fights his way out. The parents are really not proactive with their child. Where does that strength come from? Where does that
Strong
happen?
personality, I think.
Strong personality.
I do. I think it's just something that it's like a switch that goes on, I think, within
So
a
many
child that I want
kids-
better, you know? There can't be just this. It's got to be more.
Yeah, and I look at those kids, and I have kind of grown up with that type of mentality.
Yes.
Where that fight comes from, where that blocking out the bullying at that time,
Yes. Yes.
you know,
And that's the beautiful thing. It happens to some children, but not all.
I know.
It's very few that have that strong personality. That is not going to happen to me. And that's a wonderful thing to have. But it's the children that don't have that
That's right.
and are shadowed and are afraid. And once you have that fear, it's hard.
Do you feel, because of what I just described of that guy or girl getting out of the neighborhood and having that drive to coming to now, and there's so much information going into a child, so much input from different areas, from your music to
Yeah.
the videos to conversation.
Right.
Is that helping our kids more, or is it making them weaker to go and believe?
That's a tough question.
Yeah, I don't
know.
know.
I don't
I
know.
think-
There's a lot of
I
influences.
think knowing and knowing about bullying, being aware of it,
Yeah.
knowing the preventions, knowing the consequences, being able to bring the families in to monitor their children, knowing where they go. Let's say Instagram, Snapchat, being able to be aware of where bullying can begin. Because the teachers are aware of it at school
Yes,
in those
they are.
hotspot areas.
Yes.
I think it's bringing awareness is key. and then knowing how to prevent it and stopping it and knowing that something's got to be done. I think that's with any kind of change. We have to realize something's got to be done.
I think
There has to be
yeah.
a wanting to act on it and to continue that act.
But I think across the board in every state, you could make a program here. You could have the ins and outs and the programs ABC that can be handed out to others.
Well, and that's why I think Deb Landry is what a wonderful woman to provide these books
Exactly.
to children, and title holders to be able to present them to the schools and educate young kids. Again, that's where it starts. So being able to educate these children in a fun way.
Yeah. And
Yeah, like our daughter, Addison, she's in 2nd grade, and I can promise you if she saw a bully, she would not allow it. She has just been, we've discussed it so much, and she's been around our conversations that it would not happen. But she's been exposed to it, so it's just a matter of getting more kids exposed to it.
And it's also the changes within the school. Like Addison, Ireland, she goes to Fairfield, and Principal Maureen McMullen has a great program there where children are recognized for their positive behavior. They get
great.
stickers. My daughter comes home with stickers. It's the cutest thing. Sometimes she'll have 1, 3, sometimes she won't. But they recognize what children are doing good.
see, that's great.
Because all children want to be recognized, negative or positive. But to recognize children that are doing good is important. So, it starts there too.
Yeah, they have to be acknowledged.
Absolutely.
And I mean, I think more so nowadays than ever before. Because there's so much going out there. I mean, we didn't have in schools any kind of shootings going on or any of it.
Right.
I mean, you're younger than me. I mean, you didn't have it in your time growing up, did you?
I mean, I think there were school shootings. I just don't think we knew about them.
Right,
It wasn't
okay.
on the news. They weren't publicized. I mean, now we're watching the video of the kids running out. It's just everything is just more now as opposed to putting a newspaper 2 weeks later. So, I think there was. I guess I don't know. I guess it was just different.
Different.
Yeah, it's just different.
What's your thought on our conversation here, Alana?
I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know.
No.
On conversation on what is your thoughts about bullying? What are your thoughts?
I mean, we're talking about this. What are your thoughts? I mean, it's wrong, but
Let's say after the pageant, if you should win, we've talked about how strongly you feel about the anti-bullying campaign and how you think you can really make a difference.
Like, what would I do?
Yeah.
I would go to schools and I would take those books and possibly read them to classes and tell them that it's wrong and what could happen if you do this and how it would feel if someone did it to you and how that would make and change your life.
And do you have examples?
From mine?
Well, from your point of view, to give the kids in the classroom you would read to. I mean, yes, the books, but would you have an example of maybe something you heard about or something you know about from a friend?
I really haven't seen or have been someone done it to me. It's just never happened at my school, I don't really think.
Okay. All right.
But there's something to be said for that because perhaps they're doing things right
That's
there.
right.
So
That's right.
she's learned from her environment, but there's not all schools are like that.
No.
Honey. So you're in a good spot. So you haven't seen the worst, and I think there's a lot of schools we can help change.
And I think that's
with
why a
awareness.
program like this going across the board, but it seems like so many people need to have you do it first.
Right.
And simplify it for them to do. You're putting all the work in.
Right.
Be a role model.
Be the role model,
Be a
and
role
then
model for your children, then they can be a role model for others.
right, and then you send it off.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely. I also wanted to mention every state has different laws against bullying. And I do have a website. It's called www.bullypolice.org.
Oh, okay.
You can go on that website and learn about what your state laws are against bullying
Okay.
and what your rights are. as a parent or for your children. I think it's a great way to be aware of, that, because every state's different and what they have.
That's a good
So if
idea.
you go on, it's www.bullypolice.org.
Perfect. Because, I mean, even if you're a grandparent
Anyone.
raising your children, your grandchildren, or just a grandparent seeing this going on, it's not just the parents, it's the aunts, it's the uncles,
Yep.
it's the grandparents, it's the friends.
It's the network of an entire kid's
Absolutely.
friends, family that needs to be involved and recognize it. And we surround ourselves with a great group of friends in town, and we all parent the same way. And I think we have 10 kids between all of us. So
Right.
that's important for our crew. But not a lot
Sure.
of people have that support system.
No, they don't.
So
And they have to go somewhere to be able to have it, and the school is a place for the kids to have it.
Right.
So now, is there anything else you'd like to bring up from your notes that we might have missed or anything?
well, no, just really if again her pageant's coming up. If someone would like to donate towards the cause,
Okay.
towards Crown Cares and Crossroads, and to help sponsor Alana for her pageant.
All right.
You can, the credits will come up, so grab your pens and papers. There's my phone number and my email address. Contact me. We can talk about the details.
Absolutely.
And then, help support this young lady
This young lady,
and her cause, and then, hopefully she can do some good work moving forward.
sounds good. Did we get everything on your notes, Candy?
I think we did. I think we touched on everything. Yes.
Definitely. Now, is there anything you would like to tell our viewers?
No. Bye.
Well, just look in the camera
Okay.
and say,
You can say, "Come watch me at my pageant
Yes.
on August 15th, 16th."
yes, tell our audience.
Come
Wait, what date?
August 15th, 16th.
I don't know.
Okay, so tell our audience. Ask our audience to come see you at the pageant.
Come and see me at my pageant August 15th,
And 16th.
16th.
And then have a
Perfect.
good show.
Have a good show. And the books. Don't forget, we can get the books at...
BrysonPublishing.com.
Okay.
BrysonTaylorPublishing.com.
All right, so we have our books. Make a phone call to Rick, and he will explain everything to you. And I want to thank you both, or all of you, both of you, on being on our show.
We're grateful for having us. Thank you.
Yes,
Oh,
thank
you
you
are
for this
very, very
opportunity.
welcome. It's been a lot of fun. I think you educated our audience on another program that really, really needs their support, your support.
Did we touch on October? On that
No, you did not touch on October.
Yeah,
Wait 1 minute, don't go away. Okay.
Yeah, so October is National Bullying Month, or
I
anti-bullying
did not know
month.
that.
So, if there's, I know perhaps maybe we can have Deb Landry on your show that month
That
to
would
talk
be
about
great.
it again, or have Alana back.
Yes.
Whether she wins or not, I'm sure
Oh,
she'll be
yeah.
willing to come back.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
Anyway, that's all. I think that's the last thing we had on the list.
Okay.
So we'd love your support, and again, it's at Thornton Academy, August 16th, 15th, and 16th. If you want to
Okay.
come out and see the pageant.
That would be great. All right. Well, thank you so much again.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Childhood sweethearts. It's just amazing. Amazing. And here I thought you were the second husband.
Maybe. Soon enough.
Oh, well, okay. All right, everybody, I'd like to thank you for watching Tony Time again. And it's been a lot of fun, and I'm so happy I eavesdropped on their conversation last week. And we'll see you again. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Toodaloo.
Oh,